episode 4, Space Wars. Let's get into it. So today we're going to be doing the moon map today, or at least looking at it. Last episode we worked on the Mars map. We're taking a break from that and going back to the moon. Let's get into it. Okay, now Germany is coming off Earth and going to the moon. Where do you think Germany would want to land? But they're going to land, the Germans are going to land right here. And when we go back to Earth, if I can get their color is going to be this dark gray color here. And when we go back to the moon map, Germany is going to start their colony. They're going to start it. Wait, that's a very kind of hard to see color. I don't care, I'm using it. They're going to be quickly expanding their colony in order to attempt and fill in this area here. And they won't be finding any major craters that would be, well, major. And also, the Americans are expanding their colony as well in order to get in contact with the Germans, as both of them will be meeting up right here. And the French will also be doing the same thing, and they will be all be just, well, forming, like, going together and, like, doing things. Yeah. And then a new alliance is going to be made. We haven't had one in a while. But we have a new triangle alliance here. And the Germans are going to join it. And so are the French, the Indians, the Brazilians, and also the British. And well, wait. What? These two? I'm pretty sure they had the square lines before, I think. Let's just pretend that always was there. And now the entire moon is on the brink of war. Very nice, right? Yeah. And the Germans and the French will be expanding a lot throughout this area. Like the French will be expanding in this general direction, and they want to try and conquer the entire moon, which is a pretty big goal if I would ask myself. Yeah. And then India is going to come in and continue expanding the gigantic colony, which is way too big for some people. And eventually, it'll look like this. So now, pretty much this entire side of the map is filled. Other than this northern part here is going to be explored / filled by China, as China is going to be expanding a lot in it. And then India and China are going to be racing in order to fill it up. Maybe I should have some of these craters here. The craters make it more... There. And I can make it go here, and they can go around these small craters. And eventually, the entire moon in this small area here will be filled. And it'll look something like this. Yeah. Now the only areas that are left are the rest of the areas that are just not filled. And the Russians and the Chinese are going to get at work trying to fill up the entire map. And they will be starting by trying to fill in this giant area here, as China will be doing a lot of the work here into colonizing the moon, and will be taking a lot of these cratery areas. And then, well, the Russians will be also doing their own work as well to fill up the moon, as they are able to take and colonize all of this area here. And the Russians, another thing they will be doing is conquering or trying to conquer this area, as they send their people in order to just colonize this whole corner of the moon. And eventually, they will be pretty successful in colonizing the entire thing. And eventually, there's a bunch of small cracks here, and they are just gonna attempt to go around each and every single one. And eventually, it'll look something like this. A big mess. And if you haven't already noticed the Nigeria in the corner, Nigeria is coming on this map. Let's give them yellow. Yeah, there's no yellow on this map. So Nigeria has just landed on the moon, and they are going to be this color, this very bright yellow, at least compared to all the gray moon stuff around it. As they will be expanding this colony very quickly, as with help from the British, they will be trying to take as much territory away from any other countries like the Russians as possible, as all of them are kind of racing to fill the moon. And eventually all of them will be pretty successful in attempting to, let me get, there. Now I can actually see the map a little bit better. As the Nigerians, and why does it look so bright? The yellow? Is that just me, or is that just the color? Feels a lot brighter. As all these nations, like even the Germans, will be going ahead and attempting to fill up the moon as quickly as possible. They're going to be doing this in order to stop the Russians and the Chinese from doing their giant expansions. As the moon looks like this. It's a pretty big moon. And if you didn't already see, I'm going to be trying to color this side thing here. If I get rid of this, I can't. Blah. If you see the top of this corner here, and yeah, I'll be filling it from here. As the Russians will be filling that area. It's kind of hard to get the corners for some reason. As the British will also be filling in the corner. I hope this is easy to see. Probably isn't. And now, the only areas left is this area. One of the only areas is this area. As the Chinese will be doing a lot in order to take it. And eventually the Americans will push in and take a huge chunk, and that area is colonized. And now it's just this area here. There. As the Russians will be going ahead and attempting to conquer the entire thing. And the alliance, the Triangle Alliance, was not successful at stopping the Russians from expanding, as they're being way too expansive right now, but yeah. And this giant area is slowly being filled up over time. As more and more of the area gets colonized, and Nigeria will be continuing the things. And well, as of this point, the entire moon is colonized. Except these giant areas, which in this world are considered one giant craters that are sacred. Yeah. Time to go to the Alliance layer now, because Nigeria is going to be joining an alliance. They'll get offered both alliances, the Triangle Alliance and the Square Alliance. And they have favorable views. They're kind of a neutral country in this standpoint. They are the only African country currently on the moon. And well, the Russians and the Chinese are offering all of the British territories that they currently occupy on the moon if they win a potential war. They also promise a lot of money and a lot of aid to make their colony gigantic and potentially help with getting on Mars. Yeah, mainly Russia with Mars, so yeah. And what the Triangle Alliance is offering, they are offering to get a bunch of territory that the Russians control and also give aid to help with Mars. And the thing is with Mars, 2 nations from the Triangle Alliance are on Mars, but only 1 nation from the Square Alliance is on Mars. And the votes, what Nigeria decides is if I can get down there. They, after I get this play on, will be joining the Triangle Alliance. And that is a major event. As well, next episode we will be focusing on Mars. And maybe the 5th there might possibly be another giant war in space. I'll probably talk about satellites soon. That is going to do it for today's episode of Space Ward. See you in the next episode, and bye.